We go. Okay, so hi all. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that I have not yet met, my name is Mary Keefe. I am involved in the admissions process for the MPH program and have interacted with many of you through this process, this very exciting process, I might add. I want to thank you for joining us today as we give an overview of the session via and a welcome from our Dean, Sten Vermund, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. And also Marty Klein, the director of the Executive MPH program, is here with me today. We're really thrilled to have you here. This has been, first, I'll admit, from an admissions point of view, when I heard this program was rolling out in the late summer, I sort of thought, well, yeah, we'll see what we get. Because it was late and I wasn't really honestly sure what the interest level would be. We've seen sort of an increased inquiries about this. But what's been astounding, and to all of your credit, is the extraordinary group of applications that this executive MPH has attracted. In all my years of admissions work, which is, I think this is my 11th or 12th cycle at Public Health, and I've been in the student affairs office at Public Health, the Yale School of Public Health, for 17 years. This is the most extraordinary group of applicants I've ever seen. So congratulations to all of you. This is a real testament to your academic abilities, your public health interest and focus. It was a very diverse group of applications in terms of life path, public health interest areas, why you want the degree and how you hope to use the Yale degree in your work going forward. So we're excited to help you get to know our program in the days ahead so you can make the right choice for you. We hope it will include your Yale MPH. And I just want to reiterate that over the next few days, we are going to have some very specific welcoming or open house events for the executive MPH based on your academic track. You should have all received emails about this. If you have not, there's information on our website and on your personal URL page as well. This will help you get to know sort of some of the faculty and more about the actual curriculum that you will be presented. But we're excited for you to learn this information. We hope that you'll be in touch with any questions that you might have lingering after all of this. And we look forward to hopefully welcoming you to this excellent academic opportunity and career opportunity for all of you. And so what I would like to now do is turn this over to our Dean and leader, Sten Vermund, who has been instrumental in a lot of the big changes that have occurred at the Yale School of Public Health over the last several years, especially in moving forward in some of these exciting new academic areas. Just off the top of my head, recently, under Sten's direction, we've rolled out some great new concentrations in climate change and public health modeling, most excitedly in US health and justice. This has been a real focus of the school, diversity, inclusion, and public health justice going forward. And now the executive MPH program. Sten is an MD and PhD by his credentials and an infectious disease epidemiologist. Maybe some of you have become familiar with him in the media as we've all wrestled with COVID. But I'm going to turn it over to Sten and thank you all. If we'll have some time for questions and answers at the end of this. So here you go, Sten.
Okay, thanks, Mary, and thanks, Marty, for inviting me. You know, public health is often a mid-career decision. Myself, for example, I discovered public health in my pediatrics training and really fell in love with global and tropical disease work as a budding young pediatrician, and decided that I really needed more public health background. And then when I went and did my master's degree, more as a mid-career person, I fell in love with the discipline. So most people who do this, they might take the MPH back to their prior career and have it enhance their prior career, or other people switch careers. So regardless of which category you might fall in, and you may not even know which category you fall in, the one thing that we think is held in common by all of you is that you're not spring chickens. You are already into your careers. You have already had a number of years after your undergraduate programs. Some of you have advanced degrees in social sciences or health sciences, and some of you have substantial experience in public health, where your credential is your on-the-job knowledge base, but you would like the academic complement to that. So that's the whole point of the executive MPH, is that you don't quit your job and move to New Haven. Those of you who are applying here don't aspire to doing that. You aspire to doing this either full-time or part-time from a different base of operation. And Yale's a little late to the game. I have been sending students to other programs for years in my training grants, but Yale does have some competitive advantages. First of all, we built this executive MPH based on all the lessons learned from all the other programs. So we did a very systematic curricular review to find the most useful tool set that is being built for the distance learning MPH student, and have incorporated all those lessons learned from all of our sister institutions into this program. So sometimes being the newest program might make us the best program, and that is our intention. I can't be arrogant and say that it is the best because we haven't even started yet, but that's our intention. We want this to be the best program. And it will be an intimate program. We are not going to have a huge entering class. If it hovers in the 35 to 50 range, that would be about it. And that will give us an opportunity to get to know each other. I trained in such a master's program myself, and getting to know my classmates and learning from my classmates was, you know, a huge bonus beyond just learning from my professors. Because when you have a program like this, and you have a number of people who are mid-career, they bring a lot to the table. Let's be honest, a little more than the average 22-year-old coming straight out of college, just because of the experiential difference. And so we want to exploit that, and we want to build that into the curriculum with enough small group work and enough interactive work that you're all going to be teaching each other, depending upon the prism of public health with which you are peering, through which you're peering. So like Mary said, I'm an infectious disease epidemiologist, and I'm a pediatrician. I'm privileged to be one of your teachers in this program. I will be teaching the Frontiers in Public Health course. I've taped all the lectures over the summer, but I will be in, that's so that you can look at them whenever you want. But we will have class sessions, discussion sessions, where we will interact around the topic material of the lecture and anything else you'd like to talk about. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Every academic in America has had a real world distance training course. It's called COVID-19. So I have already done this course online. I also did it face-to-face, but the ratio was about 45 students online and 8 students face-to-face. So the bulk of the teaching was online. And I was very pleased to get the course reviews, because I didn't know what the students were going to say. And they thought that we had handled the blended curriculum well, where some students were in face-to-face, most students were online. In this case, there's a luxury, which is you'll all be online. So it actually simplifies the didactic opportunities. And simplifies the ability to engage, because I'm not distracted paying attention to an in-class environment as well as the online. So I don't want to claim that I'm the world's best online instructor, but I'm a lot better now than I was a year ago. And I think that goes for all of us. I really feel like the opportunity to ask me a few questions might be more worthwhile than my droning on. And so I'm going to stop there. I will say one of the things that you'll want to take advantage of is the fact that Yale University, just like all the others, has now made online the default for its overall vibrant university environment. So whether that's symphony orchestra concerts or music recitals or drama or Yale Cancer Center presentations, it's all available. And we would like to inform you of the key websites and the key opportunities for you to engage as Yale students, because you will be Yale students. And we will try to ensure that those of you who have the time, and that may be a subset of you, not all of you, those of you who have the time are able to feel like you are part of Yale University's overall breadth of learning opportunity beyond just the classroom of the school. And that, I think, is one of the real values of being a Yale School of Public Health student, is the context of Yale University. But let me stop there, and I will one final thing. We are wrestling with the issue of the face-to-face summer component of the curriculum. Our instructors, especially for the leadership and management elements, are very keen for you to come to New Haven, because they believe this particular type of learning is deeply enhanced by togetherness, shall we say. The flip side of it is that if one of you is not vaccinated and feels uncomfortable traveling, if folks just don't want to come to New Haven under these circumstances, then we don't want to discriminate against you. We want to make the experience as vibrant and meaningful for you as it is for the folks on, who are coming face to face. And I'm guessing that by summer, all or nearly all of you might have the vaccine opportunity, but we wouldn't mind hearing from you your viewpoints on whether we should pivot to an online platform for our introductory experience. We thought in originally crafting this that coming to Yale a few times during your experience would greatly enhance the value of the overall experience. And we still sort of believe that, but we have some sense of trepidation that we want to meet the needs of our students. And if the needs of our students at the present time are not to travel to New Haven, we would like to hear that from you. So on that note, let me just open it up for some Q&A. And Mary, can I do a time check? How long for this versus, the rest of your agenda?
I think I'd know to unmute myself after all these Zoom sessions. We've got plenty of time.
Okay.
And I can stay on. Marty, I don't know, did you want to add anything to this before we get going with the Q&A?
No, I think Sten summarized everything quite
Yeah,
nicely.
so Stan, if you need to sign off at some point, feel free. I can stay on till 1 o'clock or till anybody's done with us. Any questions? You can feel free to unmute yourself. This is a relatively good sized crowd. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can, or I see there's some questions in the chat, Sten.
Well, I see on-site is getting a couple of votes.
Okay.
And then, of course, the
okay,
hybridized approach, where we would offer online, and perhaps 3/4 of you would opt for that, and then the others would participate virtually. That's another possibility. Right. And, a lot of us who have been privileged to be vaccinated to date have kind of gotten to back to normal anyway. I mean, I have a son who's a healthcare worker, and I didn't hug him for 10 months. Now he is 40 years old, so I suppose we could get away with not doing too much hugging. But the point is that we're a hugging family, and he's an optometrist. He was six inches away from the faces of every single one of his patients all through COVID. And I'm in a vulnerable age group, so we were cautious. And now we're all vaccinated, and we're all thrilled. So I do think that if you are vaccinated, the ability to do the face-to-face component of the curriculum is an appealing one. Thanks. I'm getting a lot of votes for that approach with the issue of perhaps making it available for this tiny fraction of people who can't do it. Good. Up. It sounds like so far most people are. Yeah, I wish I knew how to do the tally. That's where I haven't quite mastered. Online, I see these sophisticated Zoomers, most of whom are under the age of 40, and they're doing tallies and all. I haven't quite managed that. So far, strong motive for on-site. Okay, anybody else anybody want to make a comment or question? Overwhelming on-site sentiments.
I have a question. Thanks,
Please.
Dr. Verman. I'm also a pediatrician like you, sir. You're an inspiration to me personally. How do the faculty feel safe teaching on site?
Yes, the faculty are very comfortable. A big chunk of us taught all through fall semester.
Sure.
And I never once felt that I was taking my life in my hands. The university's been very fastidious about safety precautions. In fact, I sit along with 3 of my colleagues from the School of Public Health, 4 of us sit on the public health committee of the university that specifically has guided them around safety considerations. So every imaginable physical separation, masking, abundant hand hygiene opportunities, novel, rehabilitating the HVAC systems, heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems to use MERV 13 filters, increase the air circulation per hour, mixing in external air, pivoting activities to outdoors, an aggressive testing scheme and contact tracing. You go on and on, all the things we've done to keep the campus safe. And we've had tremendous success. And the number of cases we've had in the School of Public Health is a very modest, fits on the fingers of one hand in a community of 900 people. So I feel like we've done a good job and are continuing to do a good job keeping people safe. And many of the faculty have been able to get vaccinated. Some of them who haven't are likely to get vaccinated in the next 3 months. So I'm very optimistic.
That's great to hear. We can't wait to meet faculty, but also the students. We've been really excited to meet each other. So
I'm just going to jump in and second what Sten said. Our Office of Student Affairs opened in last August. We split up into 2 small little groups. So I've been going I'm not there now, as you can tell from my background, 2 different days a week since August. And it is, I have never felt threatened or unsafe. Yale has gone out of their way to be considerate of all of our viewpoints about how we feel about coming in or not coming in when we've had an exposure, what have you. But the testing ability to get tested has been so efficient and easy to do with quick results. And now the vaccination rollout. I've had my first vaccine through Yale. It's been incredible. Their email correspondence, the people working the programs, it's really been remarkable. Marty, I did see a question. I don't mean to interrupt, Sten, about the dates of the intensive. I didn't know if you wanted to share that with the group because that may be of interest to everybody.
Yeah, I've been furiously typing in the chat, answering those.
I know you have.
So the dates for the first intensive are June 23rd to June 27th. So that's a Wednesday. We'll start in the morning and we'll end at noon on Sunday. So that's the first intensive. The second intensive, the exact dates are to be determined, but they're going to be during Yale's spring break. So sometime during the spring will be the second intensive. And then the third intensive will be a year from this June, roughly the third week of June. So our plan is for the first intensive to be the fourth week of June, and the third intensive, because it's the same GHLI group, will be approximately the third week of June. So that's roughly when we'll have it, but we've definitely got the dates. For the first one, it's the 23rd to the 27th.
Stan, I don't know if you want to take this next question.
Yeah, there have been, we have COVID cases on campus all the time. Absolutely routine. So I didn't mean to give the wrong impression, but what they are sporadic cases. For example, we had one last week where a dependent of an employee came home, and this dependent goes to a university elsewhere. And the dependent came home, and I forget it was the mom or the dad got COVID from the teenager, from the college student. We've had some small, you can call them super spreader events, but it's been more like 5 people. We did have an outbreak in the Yale men's hockey team, and they did a pretty good job violating about 4 fundamental requests from President Peter Salovey on comportment. I don't need to go into detail, but we had a 95% attack rate of the vulnerable individuals on the Yale men's hockey team. But what I'm saying is we've never had to close the university. We've never had to disproportionately disrupt any major activity of the university. We've never come remotely close to the quarantine or isolation capacity that we had planned for. We've been able to keep dormitories open. We've been able to apply an exceedingly aggressive testing scheme where twice weekly routine testing occurs in all undergraduates who are in dorms, and then testing is made available and free to all graduate students and faculty and staff at any time they would like a test. So, and encouraged to do it at least weekly. So with our provisions, we've been able to keep a lid on transmission. But I'm sorry if I left the impression that we haven't had COVID on campus. We've had COVID just like everybody has. Are there any questions about the concentrations of the executive MPH? We have our 4 tracks, and I thought you might be interested in a little more detail on any of those. So if so, chime in. If you've been satisfied by our written materials, that's fine too.
And Sten, let me also add, for the benefit of everyone, that we are going to have specific open houses on each of the tracks.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so, feel free to ask them now, but also know that, we'll have the track directors available individually for each of the tracks to answer your detailed questions.
Well, if there are no further questions for me, I think I'll slip off. I'm playing hooky on another call, so I'll join my other call and leave the rest to Marty and Mary. But I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. And I know some of you are considering other options or opportunities, but I'm gonna drop my cell phone in the chat. In case you want to talk to me, I'm available, and just text me and we'll look for a mutually acceptable time. I've still got my old Tennessee cell phone because I joined Yale 4 years ago from Nashville, Tennessee, where I was at Vanderbilt. But so don't be surprised if your return call comes from Tennessee. It's just me. And then my email is easy to, at Yale, we all have the same email, so to speak, our first dot last names at yale.edu. So I put that in. And if you have questions that you're not getting answered and you'd like to chat with me, I'd be happy to chat, because we'd like to recruit each and every one of you to Yale School of Public Health. We'd like to give you a highly vibrant and meaningful learning experience, which builds key skills for you career-wise, whether that be in clinical research or health policy, health management, perhaps environmental issues, social behavioral issues, chronic disease, infectious disease, maternal child health, accident and violence, name a topic, and we will try to meet your needs in skill building to give you a transformative educational experience. That's our goal, nothing less. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Sten.
Thank you.
Marty, I see a couple of questions that you might want to answer. First
Yeah.
one, is it possible to change tracks once you're enrolled in the program?
Yes, you can change tracks with the permission of the program director. That would be me. I think it's perfectly reasonable that once you enter, your interests and direction may change, and that's not something that is wrong. That's not something that's going to be penalized. It's going to be encouraged as part of being an active learner. So with my permission, you can change to a different track once you come into the program. There was also a question that I saw about the exact time frame for the intensives. And let me just add, at 5 o'clock today, we'll be hosting a session that I'll be leading on program overview. So you're more than welcome, if you're not going to be attending that session, to ask those kinds of questions now, or if you will be attending, you might want to wait till 5 when I have more time and other individuals who might be interested in the answer as well. But briefly put, it starts on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. It ends on Sunday at noon. So that's a total of 9 half days. 7 of those half days are devoted to the intensives. 2 of those half days are devoted to other things around community building, information sharing, orientation activities. So the total will be 9 half days. There'll also, if we do it on site, we have plans for the evening, a wine and cheese reception, a dinner reception, an opportunity to meet and engage with faculty. So we'd love to do all of those things. Of course, I'm excited by the possibility of having our first intensive on site. I would be greatly disappointed if we couldn't do it. But, we need to be mindful of the safety and security and preferences of everyone. I'm heartened by the response that we've gotten today in terms of your preferences. And of course, we would ask all of you to get vaccinated as soon as possible within your state regulations to facilitate that. Can we get a little context about the critical topics in public health in terms of who will benefit from this track? So the critical topics in public health doesn't have sort of the same kinds of boundary discipline as, say, the epi or the health informatics. It's really been designed to provide experience, insight, and skills into some of the areas that we think are important and would benefit a broad swath of individuals who are working in public health. So it was designed really to provide a home for students who don't have a clear and strong interest in health informatics or EHS or EPI, but want to get that MPH and want to develop some additional skills and opportunities to use those skills in their practice. So each of those 3 areas, monitoring and evaluation, public health modeling, leading transformational change, I would argue those are all very important skills to at least be exposed to and understand. But that's not to say that another public health professional couldn't come up with 3 other courses that might be equally valuable and important. But it's a generalist approach that allows you to know about some of these important, some of them are cutting edge in terms of public health modeling. Some of them, like, monitoring evaluation, it's sort of old school, if you will, but, you'd be surprised how often it isn't done right. So, we want to introduce you to both things that are important and sort of leading the discipline forward, as well as some of the things that, we would consider to be sort of bedrock foundational discipline areas. And then the leading transformational change really ties into something that's been very, very important in terms of structuring and designing this program, which is about management and leadership and training you to both be effective managers and leaders in what you're doing now, as well as to prepare you for any future management and leadership opportunities. So what would be the track here most relevant to students interested in healthcare management and social entrepreneurship? Well, I know a little bit about social entrepreneurship because I started what is essentially the first program in social entrepreneurship at a school of public health. It's hard for me to say. I mean, my sense would be that unless you have a strong and compelling interest in health informatics, environmental health sciences, or EPI, then the way to go would be to take the critical topics track and then think carefully about the other 3 courses that you want to take. So for example, in the EHS track, there's a course on risk assessment. It goes beyond just environmental health sciences. So I think it's important to be exposed to that. So in some ways, it'd be sort of a tailor-made response. And I'm happy if you come into the program to talk about the specifics, but in broad terms, I would say that the critical topics track is the one that you'd like to consider if you don't have a strong, compelling interest in one of the 3 other tracks. Could you combine courses from 2 tracks to form a hybrid one? The way this program is structured is you are required to take one of the tracks, and then you can take 3 courses from the other tracks. So it would be 1 track plus 3 courses. It could be 3 courses from a second track, and so you're taking, basically 2 tracks, or it's 1 track and 3 courses from the other tracks. For us, we felt it was important for everyone to have sort of a disciplinary focus rather than just be able to choose courses from, the 4 tracks. But that's a choice that we made. I could understand some might want to have a broader scope, but our feeling was that we'd like to make sure we introduce you to the courses and the discipline around one of the tracks. These are great questions. I'm also happy to take any questions if you'd like to, not via the chat, but engage in more of a synchronous discussion. Then feel free to unmute yourselves, and I'm happy to carry on the conversation that way as well. Well, if there are no other questions, I want to both echo what Dean Vermund has said, who is, by the way, an amazing individual. I've had the privilege of working at Yale and elsewhere for amazing deans, including 2 at the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, one who went on to be the president of Yale, another who went on to be the president of MIT. And Sten has unique qualities and an engagement and openness and willingness to work with students that I find remarkable, if for no other reason than by his willingness to put his cell phone number into the chat for all of you. I think that really is sort of, is an indication of the kind of person he is and the kind of leader that he is as well. So let me just add, for those of you who will be coming at 5, I look forward to welcoming you again. For those of you who can't come at 5, let me say that I have been so impressed by the quality of the applicants in this program. My wish is that every single one of you come to the program. I understand that for some of you, there may be other programs that provide a better fit, and that's fine. And for those of you, my heartfelt thanks for considering our program. But, my hope is that in person, I can welcome all of you to the School of Public Health and thank you for, focusing the future growth of your career and allowing us to be a part of that change and that transformation. So I want to thank all of you, and then Mary, I'll let you sort of
Marty,
have the last few
before
words.
I let you go, there is
Yeah.
one last question here that
okay.
I think you're better suited to answer than me.
So what would a typical week look like, and what are the courses? So, we've basically arranged this so that each semester, of which there are 3, summer, winter, and spring, there were 2 courses per semester. Each course consists of roughly 1 hour of pre-taped lecture, which is done at a very, very high quality. We're doing these in the broadcast studio, so this isn't a camera in the back of a lecture room sort of, capturing somebody. This is all professionally done in a broadcast studio. So it's 1 hour of pre-taped lecture and roughly 1 hour of what they call synchronous or sort of real-time discussion. And there may be more than that for some of the quantitative courses. There'll be a lab as well. But in broad terms, it's 2 courses per semester. Each course has 1 hour of pre-taped lecture, 1 hour of discussion. You can expect on average that there'll be about 8 to 10 hours of sort of engagement per course. That includes watching the video, doing discussions, readings, course assignments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that you should know is that we're very much aware that, people are spanning different time zones. So one of the questions that I've been asked is, what time will the discussion sections be? So we're still finalizing that, but I can tell you in the main, the paradigm will be is that the discussion sections will likely be at 8 o'clock or roughly 8 o'clock, so that, our colleagues on the West Coast, that'll be at 5 o'clock. And because the way that Yale works is that for each complement of 20 students, we assign a discussion leader. So if we have 40 students, that means we'll be assigning 2 discussion leaders as well as the faculty member. So let's just do the math in quick terms. If there are 45 students, then there'll be 3 discussion sections, each of 15. So what we're thinking of doing, and it depends on who is going to be the discussion leader, what we'd like to do ideally is offer 2 evening sections of a course, and then a section of the course on a Saturday or a Sunday at a time that makes sense for folks. So, you're not bound to doing just evening discussion sections, but that's to be determined. So, that's the broad stroke of it. It's 2 classes per semester, 1 hour of discussion, 1 hour of lecture, and roughly 8 to 10 hours per week per course of all the engagement in that course.
Okay, Marty, if you want to go, I can hang on for another few minutes if there's any sort of more general questions that anybody wants to ask. If not, we'll say farewell. But thank you, Marty.
Yeah, and I'll stay until the session's over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I did want to mention that in terms of what the summer is going to look like for the intensive, we will, as soon as we have any direction from the university, we will be in touch with you. We'll communicate that with you as quickly as possible. But we have not had any direction yet. So as Sten alluded to, the university's gone out of their way, I think, to keep campus and all of us very safe. And maybe seemed a little times that a little bit conservative and sort of making decisions, as the numbers were coming in. So as soon as we know anything, we'll let you know. And also the other open house events for admitted students that will take place beginning next week for sort of the more general population. You're welcome if there's any of those topics that are of interest to you. Some of them are very specific to faculty, to students, their research interests, life in New Haven, which may not, be of interest. But if any of them are of interest, you're welcome to join those as well.
Can I ask one question? We've
Sure.
covered a lot in this session. What will be the focus of the 5 p.m. session that's different from this one today?
What I'm going to be doing is quickly going over some of the basic structural elements of the curriculum and the program, just to sort of, have a level set for everybody, because even among the accepted students, I find students still have questions about what's the curriculum like, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to be doing that. That should take maybe 6 or 8 minutes total. Talk a little bit about the value proposition of why we think this program is good and suited for working professionals. Talk a little bit about my own motivation, and then just like today, open it up for questions. So, if you feel satisfied in terms of you understand, the program, what the value of the program is to you, and you don't have any specific questions that you want to ask at 5 that you've maybe had an opportunity to do now, then I would say there's probably little extra to be gained, other than there may be students or applicants that will ask questions that you haven't thought of, that would be good to get the answer to.
Okay, great. You'll see me at 5.
Okay, great.
Me too.
And yet there is a question about these sessions will end for the general open house events beginning March 22nd. They will all be recorded, and we'll make you aware of how to revisit those at your leisure. Thank you all. I can see people are signing off now, so thank you. This has been a terrific introduction to all of you and us, and we look forward to seeing you in more events in the days ahead. And I'm going to put my contact information in here. Any general questions that the Office of Admissions or Student Affairs can be helpful with, please feel free to send them my way. We have actually, and a lot of it isn't pertinent to you, but there is because you won't be on campus, there is a page on our website that we've just opened up that is information for incoming students. And that will become updated over time with more specifics. There's also a Facebook page for the incoming class. Whether or not that's of interest to you, I don't know, but there is a lot of general information, enthusiastic sort of sharing of, hi, this is me, this is where I'm from, this is what I'm about, happy to meet you, things like that. It's the YSPH incoming class of 2021, which you are welcome to join as well. The purpose of all of this is, of course, to help you get to know our community. We think that is one of the remarkable things about our program. We know that is one of the remarkable things about our program. We're also going to have some alumni events over the next couple of weeks, that alumni career panels that may be of interest to you, as well as just sort of hearing their enthusiasm for this place and the career paths that they've been on with their Yale MPH is always really inspiring to all of us. So that may be of particular interest to you as well.
Mary, I saw that there's a question in the chat about the capstone project, individual versus team-based. The idea, first of all, the capstone project, which is, the course is a year-long course, and it's designed to be both integrative and summative, in that it allows you to use the skills that you've developed over the course of the first year and using in the second, and then allows you to take those skills and apply them to a defined project, most likely within your place of work, but not necessarily. So you'll be working on a project that takes roughly 100 hours, and you'll sort of be an internal consultant. You'll frame what the issue is, come up with a solution, how it will be implemented, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got a great faculty member who's got a lot of experience doing that. In terms of individual versus team-based, I think it would probably be easiest because you're working on individual projects, probably within your institution, that they be individual projects. But I will check with the course director specifically on whether team-based projects could be allowed if there was, for example, several individuals who wanted to work, at an NGO where none of them are currently working now and would like to apply their diverse skills to a challenge within that organization. I think that would be great. So let me get back to everyone on that and check with the faculty member to see if group projects would be permissible, if it works logistically for everybody who wants to do it.